Hi everyone and welcome to the Londonderry View. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We actually have a very special guest that's giving up his time to be with us tonight, Chief Hart. Bill, as we all call him and know him as. So thank you for being with us tonight.
It's my pleasure. I'm very delighted to be asked to be with you guys on the Londonderry View.
On the Londonderry View, yes.
Oh, it's not going to get controversial, is it? You guys promise no controversy?
No controversies.
Okay, no controversy. Kathy said, keep your mouth shut, Bill, no controversy. I didn't know what to do, so.
I warned him we're not discussing politics.
All right.
All right,
because that
very
would
We
be.
do have a way of drawing people out, Bill, so you
But
never
you know what?
Very
Discuss
close.
politics tonight. At least I have
Bill.
someone to
That's true.
agree
That's
with
So it's
me.
3 against 1.
yes, so
So tell us about your job.
So I serve as the Chief of Police here in Londonderry, which I got to tell you is one of the best jobs you could possibly have. I work with great folks who I think do a great job in service to the town of Londonderry. We've got over 60 officers and close to 20 full and part-time civilian staff. Londonderry, maybe you don't know, is the police department has become one of the most recognized police departments in the state among police for its professionalism and the way we do things. So it's really something we're very proud of. And it's been quite a journey. I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve, to be sure.
Very
so how many years has it been now?
Well, this time I came in 2000, so just about 17 years ago, but my career in Londonderry began really in the early 90s when I was hired as a prosecutor here. I'm a lawyer by training, and I worked as a lawyer for a number of years to start my career, never thinking I'd wind up being a policeman or a chief of police. So I started out as a lawyer, and then after a couple of different jobs, wound up here in Londonderry as a prosecutor when Chief Bannon was here. In fact, it's important to note that we just lost the very first prosecutor who served the town of Londonderry, Jerry Gillespie. Jerry was hired as a sergeant in the late 70s and then became Londonderry's very first prosecutor. His image hangs in our Hall of Heroes. We have a Hall of Heroes where only 2 people so far are there, Russ Goodnow and Jerry Gillespie, who both really made a difference for the citizens of this community. So stop by and see them.
Yeah.
We've been over there, Kirby.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a beautiful tribute to the men that really shaped the community in the beginning.
Certainly Jerry
Yeah.
did, and Russ did. Russ
Yeah.
was here throughout his whole life, and I like to point out that a lot of people, politicians and otherwise, talk about actually saving the taxpayers' money. Russ Goodnow did it with his work. Londonderry in the early 90s became one of the leaders in how it handled police fleets. And for about 20 years, we were able to keep that line just about flat while expanding our fleet to make sure that the officers were able to get to the calls timely. So he did a great job and made a difference for the police department. Great guy, too.
That's great.
Bonnie,
You
you were
said
gonna
you
ask a
have,
question?
yeah, you said you had 60 officers?
Yes, that includes the
Wow.
airport.
I wouldn't realize that either.
We're have an agreement with the airport to provide law enforcement services to Manchester Boston Regional Airport, which 7/8 of it is in Londonderry, including the terminal
Right.
and the parking garage. So we provide law enforcement services to them and have since 2006. Yeah.
Did
I
Manchester
didn't
have
realize
it
there
before
was so
that?
many.
Does Manchester help out with that, or?
Actually,
just
they
like
do
to-
help out in the sense that we have a mutual aid agreement with them.
Mm-hmm.
But really, Londonderry does the work up there. Before that, it was the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office. They did it for 12 years. So we're about, in this next year, we'll surpass their time of service there. And we hired initially 25 people, but working with the MHT staff, we've winnowed it down to about 18 people now who serve there, and that seems to be an optimal number in terms of cost, but also the ability to provide law enforcement services. So we're always looking at what's the cost to the taxpayer, whether that taxpayer is expressed in tickets when they fly, or when you pay your property taxes. So, and we do a good job at it, I have to say.
Yeah.
Exceptional.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Wait, so 60 officers is what we have?
Yeah, a little over actually.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
I know, it
Yeah.
seemed, when he said that, it kind of, I was like 6.
I mean, I should know doing
Well, I
the
do
roster for the
see
town
them.
report, but I don't count them, so.
But I
Right,
do
right,
see them
right.
here and there.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Ever been
I'll come in and I'll
stopped,
say,
Bonnie?
uh-oh.
Well, Bonnie, I did mean to mention, they see you too.
I know, I always have to watch on Mammoth Road because
my
inevitably
They have
you
some really good
always.
hiding spots.
I know their spots. I
Oh,
know
yeah.
a lot of their spots.
Yeah.
They
You
have
know when to
kind
slow
of move
down.
around.
I know I said I was going to be very open, but there are some things I just can't talk about.
Bonnie's got a record. I'm just kidding.
Like I said, I can't talk about that, Bonnie, that's our secret.
So
So-
do you see my bracelet that I have?
Now, was that?
That's the blue line.
Yeah, oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you
for
very much.
support of the police
Where did you
department.
get that? I want one.
I got it at a law enforcement website.
Oh, wow,
I
thank you
got
very
it for
much.
me and my daughter, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
will you send me the link?
And I
should
wear
wear
it.
one.
Yes, you
Do I
should.
not wear it every day?
You do wear it.
Every
Yeah.
single
Oh,
day.
it's a beautiful
That's
piece
Yeah,
of jewelry.
yeah,
That's
it's
lovely.
nice.
Oh, thank you for your support.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yay.
There was actually a rally recently that was pro law enforcement, right, the other day. Did you guys hear about that?
Oh, yes.
I don't remember where it was though,
It
but
was a
for
college
once it was
campus, I
college
think
campus.
it
For
was, a
once they did a
college-
pro law enforcement
Yes, oh, to
rally.
nowhere, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
How unique.
Wisconsin or Michigan or someplace like
I
that.
think it might have been Wisconsin,
Yeah,
but
so
really nice.
There's some positive.
There
Yeah,
really is.
that's a good
Well,
thing.
So-
you know what, I have to say that the vast majority of folks do support police.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, you know, in our country, it is our job to make sure that those who disagree with our methods are protected by our service. And we shouldn't forget that the first of the amendments is the First Amendment, which guarantees
Freedom of
free
speech.
speech, which is protected by people like me and those who serve with the Londonderry Police Department proudly.
Yeah. Well, I think the town did a very good job at supporting you guys with the sign.
Yeah, terrific.
Which is
Yeah, we're
awesome.
very grateful for
And
that.
who
That was.
started that?
I want to say it was, wasn't
Well,
it the
actually,
Mother's
It was
Club?
a couple of
It was
moms,
just a couple
yeah.
of moms,
Yeah,
and
who-
they had the idea
Yeah.
and wanted to do, you know, something beautifully simple, and they did. And it was, if I have it right, Crystal Ashman,
Yeah.
one of the moms, and Lori Lacanto,
Yeah.
and they got together, and it was a small idea, but then it was that
It
domino
grew.
effect.
Yes.
The signs
that-
are still everywhere, all throughout the winter
all
too.
over, and people
You saw
call
them
our
everywhere.
office all the time
Yep,
asking
looking
how
for
they
some.
can get them, and
Well, I have to say, you know, oftentimes I'll talk about the support that we have, but those signs indicated
oh
it.
my
You
gosh.
know, everywhere we
was-
go, people are so grateful for the service that we give, and you know, it's just a great thing to be
Part of
able
it.
to serve there.
Recognized, yeah.
And then some of the officers started, when they'd see a house that had the sign,
stop
they'd
and
write their badge number on it. So you
Yeah,
said
it's
our
like
house,
signing
and
your
then
autograph.
you're
Yeah.
looking for your
I'm
for your
sure they
number
loved
and the
that.
badge.
They were
You
here.
know, yeah, and then
I
the
was
pictures,
here.
you know, that were on
Oh, that's
Facebook, or
awesome.
just, you know, take your breath away for the little kids, and you know,
they're so-
it's a
Yeah, really quite a
yep,
gesture.
just a beautiful.
And for the record, we did have one up at the senior center out in front. However, we had issues.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, so we put it up and then it got knocked down. Somebody pulled it out and it was laying on the ground. So we put it back up and then they took it and they ripped it apart and I think they left it on the front porch,
They
right,
left it
of the
on front
building.
porch.
I'd tape it back and
So
put it back
then,
on.
so we put it back in the ground again and then Steve Cotton found it in the dumpster.
Oh, well.
And I think it was at the time we weren't there.
Oh,
When
okay.
we
Yeah,
were
it
out
wasn't
of
a
the
senior.
area,
It was not one
so
of the
we
seniors.
couldn't-
Oh.
Right.
In other words, they knew nobody was in that building
Yeah,
at the time.
it was during the.
And this
Yes.
is why I've been asking for cameras.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you
I
should
want
put "You are
Yeah.
being watched"
Yeah.
on the sign.
I know, we could
I-
put
I-
them even if we're not.
I
Yeah.
wanted, I said, I'll just
Nobody's
buy,
gonna know the
I'll
difference.
just buy little fake cameras and put them up, you know, under surveillance.
That's awesome.
I mean, one day, her and I, do you remember that day? Can't never forget that day.
Oh,
And
when somebody almost broke in.
they were on the roof.
They were on
and
the
we
roof.
didn't know what it
I
was.
remember.
We thought they were in the attic. We didn't know where they were.
And
the
I
two
called-
of us are running out like crazy women.
And I called down the police station. I said, there is somebody up on my roof. And they must have thought I was nutty.
No, we didn't know.
But then we found the kids that were
Yeah.
doing
Oh,
it,
no
and
kidding.
the officer, you know, interviewed them right there in the parking lot.
Yeah.
What were they doing?
They-
Just
climbed and they
Running
were
up and down.
running across the roof.
Oh my God.
And when you're inside, and all of a sudden you're hearing, and I happened to be in the ladies' room at the time, okay? Which is a really good thing I was. I come flying out, and I said to her, oh my God, did you hear that? She's like, yeah. And then we thought somebody was up in the crawl space, and I'm yelling,
Right.
get down here, I know you're up there.
That's where we thought they were
We
at
really
first,
thought-
because
Right.
we
Somebody's-
figured we rent the place, and somebody got up there, and they're still up there, and we were like,
Our
oh my God.
imaginations really got
Oh,
the best
yeah,
of us.
it
Yeah,
did.
ran away. But I think, so this, I think, is a good segue into National Police Week, which
Yes.
is
Absolutely.
kicking off
Yeah.
next week. Monday is the Memorial Service
Right,
Day.
Sunday begins the week and it lasts for a week. Started about 50 years ago by President Kennedy, and it's just a recognition of the service that police officers across our country give. It's also a time to sort of take stock and remember those who gave their lives, and sometimes were injured seriously in the course of their duties. We forget that there are very few jobs where you put on an anti-ballistic vest to go out and do your work, and that's what we do. So it's important to remember that, and I'm certainly grateful for the folks who work so hard at Londonderry. So that's what the week is. Friday here in New Hampshire is, next Friday, the 19th, is Memorial Day here in New Hampshire, and there's a big ceremony up in Concord at the State Memorial, put on by Sergeant Glenn April of our agency, along with the folks who support that memorial. But he's the guy who kind of puts that day together in terms of the parades and speeches and those sorts of things. And it's quite a event. If you haven't gone, you should go, and certainly I'd invite anybody to come. It's
Yeah.
quite a
It's
thing to
Friday,
see.
the 19th?
Friday, yeah, starts at 10 o'clock up in Concord at the corner of the Legislative Office Building, which is just
Awesome.
across from the
Yeah,
State
that
House.
sounds
Yeah, the
interesting.
19th.
That's good.
Yeah.
Maybe we can put that up on the
On
show
the
or on the,
screen,
yeah,
so
because
people
that's an
know.
important
Yeah.
one. I've never been to it. I think,
It's
yeah,
quite a thing.
that's really
Yeah.
quite an
Maybe
honor.
we should
to-
take a trip.
Yeah, that
Road
would
trip.
be, right, a road trip. That would
Road
be
trip, yeah.
wonderful. I just love
Can we come in
Concord
Concord? No,
anyway,
just
you know.
kidding.
It's, yeah, that's great.
Awesome.
Yeah, 10
That's
o'clock.
So-
And then we have our own service here, but for Memorial Day, but that'll be on the Monday, but not really part of the week, but in a way part of the week,
Yeah.
you know, when you think about it.
Is that that's the
Yeah,
following
the
weekend, right?
following,
yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
do we have any police officers that are going to Washington for this?
Nobody that I'm aware of from our agency. Typically, there's a reasonable showing down in Washington. I think Lieutenant Cheatham, Patrick Cheatham, may go down. He's the incoming president. Keep in mind what I said, Londonderry leads the way in a lot of ways. Patrick is the incoming president of the New Hampshire Police Association. So,
That's awesome.
and Sergeant Mark Morrison is on the board of directors. So Londonderry officers play a really critical role in that association, which helps out in legislation and has input into who serves, for example, on the retirement board and other boards in the state. So Londonderry has played a pretty big role in that.
So how many other communities play a role in that as well? Is it every community?
It's open
or?
to any
Okay.
police agency in the state, yeah. And the board of directors is made up of, I think, 12 people.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
And 2 of whom are Londonderry folks,
Wow,
yeah.
that's awesome.
So, yeah, it speaks well of how other agencies think
Yeah.
of us, yeah. So it's good.
So
Yeah.
I was reading today about the event in Washington and the different events that they hold there, and they have a conference for like survivors of
Yep.
coworkers and family members, and then they have the bagpipe and drums
Yeah.
contest, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a friendly competition that
Yes,
they
it
do.
is.
So now, do we have anybody
Yes.
that
We
plays
do.
the
Yes,
bagpipes?
Yes, we do. Patrick plays bagpipes,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
he's a member of the New Hampshire Pipes Association, sponsored by NHPA. And they typically go down to those things and other contests, friendly contests. In fact, their 20th anniversary, put together by Patrick Cheatham, was in Manchester. I think it was I want to say 2014, maybe it was 2015. But they had a great event, closed Hanover Street and marched down to, from Hanover
Oh, that's
Street.
by the Palace
Yeah,
Theater.
down by the.
I remember
yeah,
that.
it was quite an event.
Yeah, I didn't go to it, but I remember. I had
hearing
passed
about
by
it.
it, and I was wondering what was going on.
Yeah, motorcycles
Yeah.
led the way, and it was quite a thing. So Patrick's going down, and we have relationships, we meaning that association has relationships with the Boston Gaelic and the New York Pipes, Chicago, and it's becoming kind of a recognized unit in the country now.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah,
cool.
That's
yeah, it is pretty
exciting.
cool,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
It's
neat.
kind of fun. Yeah.
That's a good thing.
I
It's
feel like
fun
the
to go to
bagpipes
hear
are
those
fun to
guys, yeah.
learn.
Yeah, especially all of them. Now, Patrick, having some influence in that organization, I have to say, and I'm glad to say it on TV so people can remark to him, every Old Home Day they come here to Londonderry and they do a great job. And just as they pass, now many of you know I like to actually put on the uniform, walk in the parade, and at the end I'll, you know, with guidance, of course, by somebody who actually knows what they're doing, I'll try to, you know, direct traffic and that sort of thing. So they'll come around that corner, which we've only had 16 accidents. So they'll come down. Kathy, calm down. So they come down around the corner in front of the Max house. And of course, what song do you think they play? Because those who have served must stand at attention when the Marine Corps hymn is played. Of course, they round that corner, da 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 da, all the way down. I'm grateful for the honor.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is pretty fun.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of your job?
Geez, I like all of it. This is going to sound kind of crazy, but from a point of view of challenge, I like managing the budget most of all.
Wow.
It's,
That's something I don't think anyone really enjoys doing.
Yeah.
you know what,
Puzzle.
Londonderry PD has come in under budget, at or under budget for 31 out of the last 32 years.
Wow.
It is a point of honor with us that we spend wisely. We view ourselves not only as public servants, as police officers, but as keen fiduciaries for the taxpayer dollar.
Yeah.
And as a chief of police, I view that as my first responsibility. Provide that policing service within the boundaries that the taxpayers have said we can do it. And we've done it every year on my watch, and like I say, 31 out of the last 32 years. So
You're very cooperative during budget season. Yeah.
that's nice to hear.
Yeah. I listen, I watch.
Well, thank you.
So on the other hand, then what's your least favorite part of your job?
You know, sometimes we have challenging complaints that are given, and you know, it's equally a badge of honor with us that anybody who makes a complaint will listen. That doesn't mean that you know, we're going to do what folks ask. It'll be investigated. We'll listen. It'll be investigated. But those can be challenging. You know, sometimes you've got people who make a good point and officers who make a good point. You know, one of the things we try to keep in mind and allow it to inform how we treat people with respect and kindness always is that if we're showing up at your house, it's really not a good day. You know, so if we try to treat people with as much respect for the situation they find themselves in, typically things work out pretty well, but sometimes they don't, and that's a challenge for any boss, I think, really. And certainly that's my least favorite. Grateful to say, statistics are awesome, and knowing what you're talking about is even better, and on this I do. We last year had 11 complaints
Wow.
total.
Wow.
11.
26,000 people.
Keep in
that's
mind,
great.
about 26,000 plus people. More come every day to use our roads and
Businesses,
businesses.
developmental.
We have 60 officers working 24 hours, 60 plus working 24 hours a day. Last year, over 900 arrests and 10,000 motor vehicle stops and 11 complaints. That is
That's
awesome.
awesome.
That is
Fantastic.
Thank you to everybody who works for Londonderry PD.
Yeah.
Great job.
Oh,
Great job.
Yeah.
So while it's a
Absolutely.
difficult piece of the job, I don't have to do it very often, which is terrific.
Yeah,
So,
which is
That's
very
good.
good.
That's
yeah, and that speaks to the kind of people we hire.
Yeah.
And once they get here, they take advantage of working here and the kind of philosophy we have, which is try to be
Londonderry has one of the best
transparent.
reputations.
Truly
in
across the state
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the country.
In terms
Well,
of
we've
the
worked
PD.
at it.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't come easily. It doesn't come without a commitment to a way of policing and a philosophy that you treat people with respect and kindness and decency at every turn. You know, and I think we do that as best we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they always say, Bill, too, that, you know, great leadership at the top filters
Right.
down. And one thing that, you know, I've been here since the 60s.
Oh,
And I, you know,
don't get carried away.
no, but I,
move on.
no,
Suck up over here. No,
yes,
Are you sucking up over
Sherry's
there?
like, I might get stopped.
Sure, it won't get you out of that ticket.
It might get you a double ticket.
double
If you say that you know him, it might get you double.
But you know, but truly though, because you surround yourself with great people, like you're there, but then you really empower the people at each layer, which I think is so important because you know we know the people, all of the people that come into the town hall, and you know the things that they say and the warmth in their hearts for the people of Londonderry, and as you were saying, the people that they have to stop or that are having a rough time, none of them enjoy having to enforce what they need to do, but they know that it's for the better of the community, for the better of the person, and it's just, but you know, it really does, and not try, but it comes
Yeah, I
from
don't view it
the
as a triangle. We're all policemen who do different jobs.
different jobs, and that
when-
it filters
so-
down, and, but I think it was one of your officers, and I hope I have it correctly, it might have been Officer Justin, I'll say, but he said one day when he was in that they're all good people, but it's just, it could be any one of us having a bad day, you know, and I thought that really just touched me, that, you know, it could be any one of us, that ticket when we leave here, or that, you know, whatever it happens to be, but
Gotta keep that in mind.
each one of them, that's what they really believe in their hearts, you know, they're really out there to do a great job and to help, and, you know, there's so many different ways that they help the community.
Yeah,
You know? Yeah.
I'm pleased to be a part of it,
Yeah,
a small
it's-
part.
Yeah, but it's, and you served our country too, Bill, which I think is, you know, I think that's part of the leadership too, that filters through in what you do. So tell us a little bit about your journey, like, you know, where you started. I didn't realize until tonight that you were born in Ireland.
I was
didn't
born in
realize
Ireland.
that, so
Yeah,
that's, you know.
Yeah, I was born in Ireland. My dad had gone back to Ireland. His family's originally from Ireland, as is my mother's. And he had gone back to Ireland to study medicine and then came back here when he finished medical school and ultimately settled in Hampstead, just across the way, here in Rockingham County. And we grew up in Hampstead, myself and I have a brother and 3 sisters. We grew up in Hampstead. I went to college and well, anyway, I wound up in the Marine Corps.
I was trying to figure out what was going on over there. I was like, did you figure out?
So I wound up in the Marine Corps. I didn't go as an officer. They would take me, and at that point, it was anyone who would have me. So they did, and I served several years in the Marines and came out, and then went back to college, and then I went to graduate school in Virginia, and then finally went to Boston College Law School, and then worked as a lawyer for about 6 years. Different types of jobs. I worked, my first job as a lawyer was working in the brand new, at the time, New Hampshire State Senate Research Office for Bill Bartlett, who was the Senate President at the time. So I worked there for a while, and then I went down to Haverhill. I was in private practice, mostly doing you know, divorces, criminal stuff, DWI
fun
work.
stuff.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
drudgery, daily drudgery
Yeah.
stuff. And as luck would have it, a business opportunity came along, and I got involved in a business which went well, but got sold off, and they needed the design guy and they needed the sales guy, but they didn't need the guy who could make the numbers work. So I moved on, and that's how I wound up here in Londonderry. I was kind of looking around, what should I do next, and came here. So I came here, spent a number of years here, and then ran for county attorney. I was a county attorney for 4 years, 2 terms. Yeah, was elected in '94, and I'm pleased to say, notwithstanding the fact that I'm an independent now, but
We're not going to go there.
But at the time, in 1994, you may recall, that was President Clinton's sort of first midterm, and across the country, there was a high tide of a red wave, the Contract with America, Newt Gingrich. I was the only Democrat to beat a sitting incumbent Republican, I'm pleased to say. Yeah.
Very big
I
in
think
New
that's something to
Hampshire.
brag about, for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is really
fun.
cool, actually.
Yeah, it was all right. So anyway, I did that and then went back to private practice, and boy, my heart goes out to all the lawyers out there. That's a tough job.
There's some in my family I hear about.
Yeah, it's a tough job. So I got a call from Chief Ryan, who asked would I be interested in coming back to Londonderry to serve as the Director of Support Services, which is the administrative piece of the police department. You know, I thought about it, and I realized at the time that you had to go, if I was going to do this, I had to become a policeman. So I went to the police academy at age 45. The most proud moment there was I finished first in physical training of all these
Wow.
years.
At 45.
At 45.
45
Which
with
was awesome.
20-year-olds, 30-years.
Yeah, that's probably my single most proud moment in life. Anyway, so that's how I wound up here, and you know, but for the grace of Joe Ryan and the welcoming of Sergeant G and the town of Londonderry, I'm not sure what I'd be doing. But I've been lucky to work
You're a
here
good
for
fit.
17
Yeah,
years.
Yeah.
absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah,
We've been- It's
definitely.
been a good
17
fit both
years,
ways.
wow.
Good grief,
Wow.
funny enough, my hair was brown. No, it actually wasn't. Those are, some of you were here.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
it wasn't
was,
brown then
yes.
either.
Blonde, more like.
Well, that's what I like to call it back then.
It was definitely fun.
I have a granddaughter that's in her last year of law school.
Oh, awesome. Good for
Yeah,
her.
yeah, this will be coming up her last year.
Well, I hope for the best.
Yeah, hopefully
It's a
she'll
tough
do
job.
well. Yeah.
It's a tough job. Now, Mother's Day's coming,
Yes.
Yes.
so we really
Absolutely.
should recognize our moms.
Yes,
Yes.
And say thank
Boy.
you, because my
Oh.
mother now passed, but a
Yeah.
great lady, and I understand somebody actually did a poem, Kathy, is that right?
Yes, I have a poem here from one of our senior citizens in
Evelyn.
town. She's a member of the Londonderry Senior Center, and she loves to write poems, so she brought this one into me today, and I thought I would bring it and read it. It's called A Mother's Love. A mother's love is endless and strong, just like the melody of an unending song. When her children are small and need lots of care, a mother's hands must be everywhere. When her children are older, they may live apart, but they'll always be close to a mother's heart.
That is.
She was
Thank you,
beautiful.
Evelyn. Thank you,
Yeah.
Evelyn.
Do you want to
Yeah.
mention her?
Yes, this was by Evelyn Blyer.
Oh, wow, great
Lovely.
job.
Yeah.
Cheers to
Yes,
Evelyn.
Evelyn,
Well
I think
done.
is 90 years old now, too.
Wow.
Oh, my
She turned-
goodness.
Yes, 89 or
Wow.
90.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
she is. You never know it.
No.
Yeah, she's
She,
a great lady.
She always writes poems and she brings them in when we have luncheons.
Yes.
And we'll give her the microphone and she'll get up there and read it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good for her.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
wonderful. Yeah, great lady. Thank you, Evelyn.
Yeah,
Nice,
that's so
nice
good.
way to end our show today.
Yes.
And thank you, everyone, for being with us. And we look forward to
Specifically Bill.
next week.
Happy Mother's Day, ladies.
Yes,
Happy
happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's
And
Day.
Kirby's
yeah,
first
I can
Bravo.
Kirby's first Mother's Day.
Yeah.
So,
I know, it's weird. Somebody came in and wished me today. I was like, why are you saying that? And then I was like, oh, yeah, right. I have a kid now.
Yeah, you have a kid now.
Maybe I forgot for a second. So.
Very nice.
and if you'd like to contact us, Kirby,
Yep,
our
the
email address.
LondonderryView4@gmail.com.
Love to hear
We
from
get
you.
lots of positive emails. It's kind of nice.
Yes,
Positive
and it's
reinforcement.
growing, so thank
It
you.
is, yes.
Thank you.
And,
Well, thank you, ladies, for having me. I
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it
Thanks for
very
being
much.
on.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
being
coming.
with us.
Yes.
It was great. We learned a lot, and thank you for for all you do.
Yes.
You're the
Thank you.
entire
very
force.
welcome.
So
Glad to
thank
do
you.
it.
All right. Hey.
Okay,
Good
awesome.
night. Good night.